2022, the year the drought ended for the Seattle Mariners, and in this video we're going to take a look at the top 5 games of the season for the Mariners in 2022. It is really hard to find just 5 games that are the best for the Mariners, and again, this is just my list and you can have your own, but these are my favorite games from the 2022 season. Coming in at number 5, we have the game against the Astros on October 15th, 2022, the first home playoff game for the Mariners in over 2 decades. In the end, the Mariners took the L, but it took 18 innings for anybody to score a run. I will never forget going to the stadium that day, seeing Julio hit that line drive off the left field fence that came so close to going out and winning that game for the Mariners. Sitting in the 300 level that game and just dealing with the smoke from the wildfires going on, I wouldn't trade it for the world. I have never seen the Mariners crowd with that much energy. Of course, we also had the return of the King in that game, and there are plenty of other moments in that game, like the Heck Altuve chants and the Let's Go Mariners chants after the Astros had already won. George Kirby went toe-to-toe with Lance McCullers Jr., and we got this incredible moment of George Kirby looking at our boy Jose Altuve. Now, of all these games, that is the only one that's going to end in a loss. Number 4 on our list is the standoff between the Yankees and the Mariners on August 9th, 2022. Luis Castillo in his first home start going up against Garrett Cole and the Yankees, and both pitchers were scoreless through the entirety of the first 9 innings of the game. I'm not gonna lie, up until probably the 10th inning, this game was kind of boring. But then we had the insane base running skills, quote unquote, by the New York Yankees, leading to a bunch of different outs on the base paths. We had some wizardry from Matt Brash. We had the Mariners making play after play that would save the game. And eventually Luis Torrens would come up and walk this game off and then get DFA'd a few days later. But that was such a satisfying win for the Mariners, and with Luis Castillo there and taking down the Yankees in that fashion, it really did solidify the Mariners' place in what we all thought was going to be their first playoff run in a really long time. I'm going to catch some flack for this one. Alright, I know that I am. But just remember, this is best games of the year, not best moments. If this was best moments, this would be a lot different. Number 3 on my list is on September 30th, 2022. You know the day, the postseason clincher, Big Dumper's walk-off. This was easily the best moment of the year, but the game itself was actually really boring. It was setting up to be a big weekend for the Mariners with fan appreciation night on the 30th. The Mariners already knew that if they were to win this game, they would go on to clinch a postseason spot. They got off to an early lead, 1-0 in the first, and then the Athletics took it right back in the second. And nothing happened from the bottom of the second inning until the bottom of the 9th inning. And that was when pinch hitter Cal Raleigh was called upon to face Domingo Acevedo, and the rest is history. Dave, take it away.
The pitch from Acevedo, a drive deep to right field, down the line, the Mariners win this game 2-1.
This is another game that I was at, and the postseason clincher party did not start on the field until at least an hour after the game was over. I had to work the next morning, so did my dad. We were both there, but we were not leaving for anything. The stands were freaking packed for at least an hour to 2 hours after the game was already over. Nobody left. I'll never forget Scott Service coming out, grabbing the mic, and he was just absolutely sloshed already. But this game specifically just gave us so many great moments this year, and that's why this game has to be high on the list, even though the game itself wasn't that exciting. Of course, minus the Big Dumper walk-off.
Hey, it's Big Dumper. Let's go get the next series. Let's go, baby.
Somehow, another game that I was at comes in at number 2 on this list. It was on September 11th, 2022 versus the Atlanta Braves. We all remember the game, probably one of the best games of the year, where we saw the Mariners go down in the top of the 9th inning, giving up 5 runs. Paul Sewald and Diego Castillo both imploding, and then Eugenio Suarez and Julio Rodriguez locking it down for the Mariners. I don't know if in my life I have ever felt a roller coaster of emotions that I did in this game, but watching Julio round the bases after the home run that eventually retied the game, I cannot even begin to tell you what that was like as a fan in the stands. You just had to be there. And then of course, a few batters later, Eugenio Suarez steps up to the plate and smashes the ball out into the bullpen, and the rest is history, man. The Mariners went on to win that game 8-7 against the former World Series champions, and that was just such a satisfying win for the Mariners at that point. From the Braves side of things, I know that it was not as easy. Everyone was pretty mad at Kenley Jansen, which was very sad. And number 1 one on our list, you guys probably know what's coming at this point, is the comeback over the Blue Jays to win the wild card. This was such an insane game for the Mariners where they scored 4 runs in the 6th, 4 in the 8th, and 1 in the 9th to eventually win this game. Robbie Ray started that game, and well, we all know how bad Robbie Ray was in the postseason in 2022, and the Mariners were down 8 runs by the 5th inning. But that did not stop them as the comeback began to mount. We saw Carlos Santana hit his home run. We saw the double that Adam Frazier hit to clinch it for everyone. And of course, we saw the JP Crawford blooper that thankfully everyone that was involved was okay, but ended up scoring all the runs the Mariners needed to tie this game up. For this game, if you guys are wondering where I was on a plane when this game was going on. Yeah, it's true. I was on a freaking plane. Flying home from Disneyland, trying to get the in-flight Wi-Fi to freaking work, and I was able to literally sit there in the parking garage and watch the Mariners celebrate in Toronto as they won, finally making it to the American League Division Series, where of course they would get beat. But nonetheless, as a Mariners fan, that moment and that game is something that I will relish for the rest of my life. The last time the Mariners had made the postseason, I was 5. And yeah, needless to say, I didn't remember it. But this season in 2022 was a year to remember, and I can't wait to see what will happen in 2023. Of course, with that being said, that means the Mariners might need to make some moves, because yikes, we're not looking at anything too pretty here. I have a video on the screen right now about that. I appreciate you guys watching this one, and go Mariners.